filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse, mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me, like told me, keep on running toes, they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built the win, apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win, apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back for another episode in the same night. Yes, sir. You just saw me in stream about 10-15 minutes ago. Got my banners together. Had to use the bathroom. Had to blow my nose. Halfway through the episode, but we here. Now, I'm going to give you a shorter intro, but we're talking about the college football playoffs. We're talking about the college football playoffs. We're going to pick my 12 teams to make the college football playoffs. We're going to pick my champion, and we got some awards to predict. Now, I will say that. I'm going to save it. But as always, please like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps the channel. It helps the network. It helps my channel, CTC, by way of the Refuse to Lose network. We also have other shows on the network, but because of time and this being a back-to-back episode, I'm going to say please like, comment, and subscribe to all the other shows on the Refuse to Lose network as well. Check us out, man. And if you like what you're listening to, stick with us. We're going to start with the CFP, the college football playoffs. We're going to start with those. We're going to start with naming our 12 teams first. Then we're going to talk about game by game. Shout out my boy Joe. He said we back at it. Yes, sir. Can't finish the rest of my sentence, but we back at it. Just know that. I clicked awards by accident. College football playoffs tournament. 12 teams. We're gonna announce them. Let me do this right quick. Let me get this situated. It's gonna take me a minute to find it because there we go. We're good. So the number one seed in this 2025 Carl CFP playoff prediction is Penn State, 12-0, 9-0, Big Ten champ. The number two seed in the Carl 2025 CFP playoffs, the Alabama Crimson Tide, 11-1, 7-1. SEC champs. The third seed in my CFP tournament prediction, Clemson Tigers, 11-1, 8-0 ACC champions. And the fourth seed, the last team to get a bye week, is, I don't know why it says pause. You ain't playing. There we go. The Kansas State Wildcats that won 11-1, 8-1, and won the Big 12. And my prediction. So those are the four teams that get a bye week. The fifth seed in this is the Texas Longhorns, 11-1, 7-1, but they lose the SEC title game to Bama and my preview. So they get the fifth seed, I guess that'd be 11-2, 7-1. So whatever. Now the records I say are regular season records, not including if they won or lost a conference title or anything. So fifth seed is Texas. The sixth seed in the CFP playoffs is the Oregon Ducks, 11-1, 8-1. They did not lose the Big Ten championship game, but they had the same conference record as Ohio State. So I had them at 6. The 7th seed in my 2025 CFP is Ohio State. 10-2, 8-1, lose the Big Ten to Penn State. Have them as the 7th seed. The 8th seed in my 2025 CFP, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who I have gone 11-1. The 9th seed in my college football playoffs 2025 tourney is Ole Miss. 10-2, 6-2, SEC team. I think that they'll be the 10th seed, the 9th seed, according to my prediction. The 10th seed in the CFP playoff tourney is Arizona State, runner-up in the Big 12. Had them going 11-1, 8-1, losing to Kansas State in the Big 12 championship game. This is my last. Well, I take that back, but I do have them as the 10th seed, and now the 11th seed in the college football playoffs 2025 tourney is Nebraska Cornhuskers. Now, this is a curveball for a lot of people. And in my prediction, if you remember, I had Nebraska going 11-1, 8-1. And to me, it's no way with the tradition Nebraska has. If they go 11-1, win 8-1 in conference, it's no way they miss the college football playoff. It's just no way. So I have them as the 11th seed and the 12th and final seed, which goes to the Group of 5 champion, the best Group of 5 champion. So no more power conferences teams can make this. So yes, that means I don't have South Carolina making the playoff yet again, which hurt. I had them until I remembered Nebraska. I had Nebraska winning 11 games. I'm like, dang, they're not going to put South Carolina over Nebraska. But anyway, the last team in the CFP tournament bracket is Tulane, 10-2, 8-0. Now, I think they'll get in over Western Kentucky because their non-conference schedule and just the American conference is looked at to be more of a stronger conference than the Conference USA conference. So I think Tulane will be the Group of 5 school. Now, if you tuned into my last episode, I don't have Boise State as my Mountain West Conference title champion. I have UNLV as my Mountain West. Ooh, hold on. I might have to change this on the fly, because I think I have UNLV winning 11 games and winning the Mountain West. Let me see. I do. Ooh, they beat Boise State. Ugh. Am I changing this on the fly? I don't think they. No, I'm not, because I don't think that they put UNLV in. I don't think UNLV has a star player of the caliber of Ashton Genty. I think Ashton Genty made it easier for them to pick Boise State in that CFP. I'm gonna stick with Tulane. I think UNLV has a better record, but I think they ultimately go Tulane. I think they look at Tulane as a better school and a better conference. So I'm gonna stick with Tulane. But I got some comments. So I'm gonna get to the comments before I talk about the matchups. So the first comment, Teddy, let's get it. Yes, sir. Joe says he knew Texas was gonna be the 5th seed. Teddy, a USC fan, says the Ducks suck. Expect nothing less. Joe says, let's go, Ole Miss. Yeah. Ole Miss gets in over South Carolina, especially because they won the head-to-head in my prediction. So, and then he said, I forgot your LSU record. I have LSU going 9-3. So, off the top, I remember them going 9-3. I don't remember their conference record, but either way, I don't have them winning enough games. 9-3 is close. They could be in a conversation, but the way my prediction is, I have so many 11-win teams. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at-large teams with 11 wins, so it's tough to win 9 in my at-large bid. And it's only 6 spaces left because it's 5 through 11, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 7 spaces. Excuse me. It's 7 spaces left because 1 space is reserved for the Group of 5 champion. And if 5 of them are already occupied by 11-win teams, that means 2 other teams can get in. It's just they get edged out. My 10-win South Carolina team get edged out, so I'm sick behind that. All right, so we got the first game, 5 versus 12, Texas versus Tulane. I'm going with Texas. I think Texas is just going to dominate Tulane. Tulane, a school that's going to be, I think, really good, but Texas is just going to be 1,000 times better. SEC school. We're going Texas here. Next, we have 6 versus 11, Oregon versus Nebraska. Battle of two Big Ten teams. I'm going to Oregon. It's going to be in Eugene. Nebraska is still fairly young. Now, Oregon is kind of young too, but I think Oregon is just going to be too much. The speed that Oregon's going to possess. I know Nebraska is going to be really good defensively, but I just think overall Oregon's just going to be just too much to handle for Nebraska. Dylan Raiola, if he's going to have a great year to be 11-1, don't know how he's going to be in that playoff atmosphere though. Is he going to regress? Is he going to be better? Can he step up his game? Who knows? I'm ultimately riding with Oregon in this. Now 7 versus 10. 7 seed Ohio State versus Arizona State. I'm rolling with Ohio State. It's going to be at the horseshoe. I'm going to take Ohio State in this one. And then 8 versus 9 is where I actually have my upset. Notre Dame at 8 seed versus 9 seed Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss can go into Notre Dame and win that game. I'm taking Ole Miss with that offense. Marcus Freeman, I don't know how good his offense is going to be in comparison to an SEC defense. This could be a low-scoring affair where Ole Miss can win by multiple scores. I'm going with Ole Miss in the upset over Notre Dame. Now we have the quarterfinals, which I believe are now bowl games. I think they were bowl games last year, but I'm saying that's when the bowl games start. And we have 1 versus 9. We have Penn State versus Ole Miss. I think Penn State is just going to be too much for Ole Miss. The ability to run the football with Singleton and Katron Allen, I think it's just too much for Ole Miss. Penn State wins in the quarterfinals. 2 versus 7. Alabama versus Ohio State. This game was tough for me to pick. Ryan Day versus Kalen DeBoer. Ryan Williams on one side, Jeremiah Smith on another. Julian Saban versus Ty Simpson. Overall, and I just took Bama. Now, Ryan Day is a defending national champ. You can say, maybe he lifted the curse of not being able to beat good teams, ranked teams. Cool, fine, dandy. This might be a game of defenses. And Ohio State had a really great defense last year. But who are they missing? They are missing the defensive coordinator now on Penn State. They are missing that guy, Jim Knowles. And I know they bring in Matt Patricia, but it's just different, man. Jim Knowles is the best defensive coordinator in college football. Now, DeBoer and the boys, they got a lot to pick up defensively. I think they will. I think, it's his first year taking over the program. Just a lot of growing pains. But also, I just went with Alabama. It's tough. That game was tough to pick, but I just picked Bama. Next, we got 3 versus 6, Clemson versus Oregon. I'm sorry, Oregon. Now, at midfield still stands for 0 national championships. I'm rolling with Clemson to win this game. Clemson just the more experienced team. They bring a lot of that experience back from last year's team who made the playoffs. I think defensively they're growing, get better. They're going to be even more stout. Cade Klubnik and that receiving corps is going to be a lot better, which is scary. So give me Clemson in this one. And then we have the 4 versus 5 seed, K-State versus 5th-ranked Texas, where I have Texas upsetting K-State to move on to the semifinals. I just think Arch Manning and the boys might be a little bit too much for that K-State defense. And I think they can hone in on Jace Brown and force someone else other than him to beat them. And I think they'll give Avery Johnson a ton of trouble with guys like Trey Moore and those guys like that. So I'm rolling with Texas. We move on to the semifinals where we have 1 versus 5. Penn State versus Texas. Texas, yet again, plays a Big Ten school in the semifinals, and Texas, yet again, loses in the semifinals to Penn State. Penn State just, again, with that O-line and those backs are just too much to handle. Defensively, they can cause havoc with Arch. Now, Arch is more mobile than Quinn Ewers, but I think they still can get in that backfield and cause havoc with Danny Dennis Sutton. So I'm rolling with Penn State in this one, and then Clemson versus Bama. They had some legendary national title games, but I think Clemson takes it with that experience yet again, their continuity. The growth from last season, I think Clemson takes it, especially after Bama plays a tough game against Ohio State. And we move on to the national championship game, where I have first seed Penn State versus 3 seed Clemson. Ty's probably feeling on top of the world. Carl, I told you we're going to win a natty soon. But this is where the road ends. And I take Clemson to win it all. I think Clemson, just like Penn State, are on natty or nothing, natty or failure mode. And I think in the natty or failure national championship, Clemson is the one because of the quarterback. I trust Cade Klubnik more than I trust Drew Allar. And I think Clemson's going to have it. They always have a running game, no matter who's back there, from the Will Shipleys to the Phil Moffas to the C.J. Spillers back in the day. You know, just keep naming them off. I'm blanking on somebody. Travis Etienne, but I'm blanking on somebody else, and it may come back to me. Anyway, don't matter. They've always had a running game, and I think it don't stop this year. Clemson's going to have a defense. It's going to be a super fun contest, back and forth. But I think Clemson makes the plays to win the game and win the national championship. So my natty winner this year, according to my prediction, according to my previews and everything, is Clemson takes the national championship home this year. Unfortunately, by the way, because I don't like Clemson, but can't be biased on my show. We move on to some awards, man. We gotta predict some awards. And we're going to start with the Davey O'Brien to the best quarterback in the country. So the way my awards work, I pick 3 finalists, and out of 3 finalists, I pick a winner. So my 3 finalists this year are Cade Klubnik, quarterback from Clemson, DJ Lagway, quarterback from Florida, and Josh Hoover sneaks in there, quarterback from TCU. And my winner is Cade Klubnik from Clemson. Again, I think the continuity with the receivers and everything, I just think he turns up his game even more, which he had a really good season last year. Next is the Doak Walker Award to the best running back in the country. And my 3 finalists are Isaac Brown of Louisville, Nick Singleton of Penn State, and Jeremiah Love of Notre Dame. And my winner is Nick Singleton. Again, I think Nick Singleton is going to be a huge, huge part of the Penn State success, even probably more so than Drew Allar. So I think he wins the Doak Walker Award, especially if he's going to be on the best team in the country in terms of like record and everything, the only undefeated team in the country and stuff like that, according to my predictions or my preview. So he wins the Doak Walker. Next is the Fred Biletnikoff. It goes to the best receiver in the country. No surprise, my finalists are Nick Marsh, Michigan State. No bias. Jeremiah Smith, Ohio State, and Ryan Williams of Alabama, which I was honestly debating between Ryan Williams and Jordan Tyson. But I ultimately went Ryan Williams because Ryan Williams is going to be a part of the 2nd seed in the CFP playoff, of my prediction. But I almost went Jordan Tyson. And my winner is Jeremiah Smith, Ohio State. I don't really need to say much about this. Just the best receiver in the country. That's all. Next, we have the John Mackey for the best tight end in the country. My 3 finalists are Max Clare from Ohio State, transferred in from Purdue, Jack Vierling from Michigan State, and Oscar Delp of Georgia. And my winner is Jack Vierling, Michigan State. I think Jack Vierling is going to be a huge security blanket for Aiden Childs this year. I think he gets a ton of red zone opportunities. He probably converts a couple for touchdowns. I think he could possibly lead tight ends in receiving yards this year. I'm giving him the Mackey. Now, my next award, the Jim Thorpe for the best DB in the country. Now, before I go off my finalists, I hate to say this, 2 of my 3 Jim Thorpe Award finalists last season got hurt. Benjamin Morrison, who was out for the rest of the season, and Will Johnson, who tore his ACL. Those were 2 of my finalists last year. My 3rd one was Caleb Downs. No, I did not have Travis Hunter. I wasn't sure how impactful he was going to be on both sides of the ball. But, I mean, the 2 guys I picked were great picks. They just had season-ending injuries. It's like, well, I can't predict that. But yeah, man, just bad luck on my Jim Thorpe Awards last season. Hopefully, we're looking for better Thorpe, better hope. But my 3 finalists for the Jim Thorpe Awards this year are Michael Taft, safety from Texas, Caleb Downs, safety from Ohio State, and I didn't have enough room, man. I put Dylan Thiemann, safety from Oregon, but I wanted to find a way to put Jeremiah Cooper in there. Just didn't have enough room. I'm only doing 3. And my winner is Dylan Thiemann, or safety from Oregon. And the reason why I haven't won it is because not only do I haven't won a Jim Thorpe, I haven't won the Big Ten Player of the Year. If it wasn't for like being so pass rush happy. So I felt like if I haven't won the Big Ten over Caleb Downs, I have to have him winning the Jim Thorpe over Caleb Downs. So Dylan Thiemann of Oregon is my Jim Thorpe Award winner. Plus, I think he won't put the league on notice. Next is the Chuck Bednarik Award for the best defensive player in the country. And my 3 finalists for this are TJ Parker, edge rusher out of Clemson, Dylan Stewart, edge rusher out of South Carolina, and Whit Weeks, linebacker from LSU. And my winner, this one was tough. It's TJ Parker, edge rusher of Clemson. I ultimately gave the nod to the edge rusher over Whit Weeks. My decision wasn't between Dylan Stewart. It was between Whit Weeks and TJ Parker. Because Whit Weeks just has, I'll explain Whit Weeks later. But I ultimately came up with TJ Parker. Next is the Jim Buckets Award for the best linebacker in the country. And my finalists are Whit Weeks, LSU, Anthony Hill Jr., linebacker of Texas, and Wade Wooders, linebacker of Clemson. And my winner is Whit Weeks. Why? Because he just has a nose for the football. Wherever the football is, that's what Weeks is. And he's bringing it. And he can also turn the rock over. So I'm going with Whit Weeks. Whit Weeks, one of the best linebackers in the country, obviously by winning the Jim Buckets. But yeah, that's my pick, Whit Weeks. The next award, the Ted Hendricks Award for the best DN in the country. And my finalists are Dylan Stewart, USC, TJ Parker of Clemson, and Danny Dennis Sutton of Penn State. And my winner is TJ Parker. I can't give him the best defensive player in the country, the Jim Buckets, and not give him the Ted Hendricks. So I got TJ Parker winning that as well. We move on to the Maxwell Award, where my finalists are Cade Klubnik, quarterback of Clemson, Nick Singleton, running back at Penn State, and DJ Lagway, quarterback for Florida. And my winner is Nick Singleton. It seems like the Maxwell is like the equivalent to Offensive Player of the Year in the NFL, to where the MVP or the Heisman more than likely is going to go to the quarterback. Now, last year we saw it go to Travis Hunter, who played DB and receiver, but that's because there was no quarterback other than like Cam Ward and Cal McCord, who neither one made the playoffs, that were really like standing out. Cal McCord led in like passing yards. I think Cam Ward might have led in passing touchdowns, but nobody stood out like Travis Hunter. And then Ashton Genty, who a lot of people thought should have won the Heisman, won the Maxwell. So my Maxwell winner is going to be Nick Singleton, which kind of spoils that he doesn't win the Heisman. But 2 more awards, and then I'll wrap this up. The Heisman, my finalists are Cade Klubnik of Clemson, Nick Singleton of Penn State, and DJ Lagway of Florida. And my 2025 Heisman Trophy winner is Cade Klubnik of Clemson to win the ACC. And I think he's going to even improve on 36 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. He's like a 3 seed in the playoff. Lost only 1 game. He is going to win. I don't think they give Nick Singleton the Heisman. I think they give him the Maxwell. But the Heisman, I think, is going to go to a quarterback this year, and he's going to have one of the best records at quarterback and probably one of the best seasons in the country. So I think Cade Klubnik wins the Heisman Award. And the last award I have tonight is the Coach of the Year. And my Coach of the Year candidates are James Franklin of Penn State, Kalen DeBoer of Alabama, and I was going to put Dabo Swinney of Clemson, but I changed it to Chris Kleiman of Kansas State because Kansas State, in my preview, is going to win 11 games. They're going to win the Big 12, and they're going to be a top 4 seed in the college football playoff, which to me puts him in that conversation for Coach of the Year. But my winner ultimately is James Franklin. If James Franklin and Penn State goes undefeated, number 1 seed in the country, 13-0, win the Big 10, so that's why they're 13-0. I think it's no doubt that James Franklin wins Coach of the Year. But my close second is Chris Kleiman. I'm not going to lie. If he does what I predict him to do. But that is my awards and my college football playoffs. So to review, I have Clemson winning the Natty, beating Penn State in the national championship game. And I have Cade Klubnik winning the Heisman. And I have James Franklin winning Coach of the Year. Again, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I will be back around like 6:30, 7 o'clock to preview week 0. College football is here. Wipe off the whiteboard. The offseason is over. It is time to play the game. I cannot wait. I'm unfortunately going to miss a lot of the Kansas State, Iowa State game because I will be at work. But I'm going to try to watch as much as possible while at work. But please like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. But I'm gone. I'm about to take myself to sleep in a minute. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.